Well, thank you for having us here. I'm Peter Silverstone, Managing Director of Kentaro Limited. And the reason I thank you for having me here is because, as Marco says, I'm not directly involved in this internet exclusive community. Kentaro, founded in 2003, is a sports rights agency, the fastest growing in Europe and potentially the world, headquartered in Switzerland, but with further offices in London, Hamburg, Stockholm, Chicago, and most recently Rio. We employ 60 persons, focusing on football and boxing television rights. And I think our presentation today with Perform highlights the need for rights holders such as ourselves in different industries to adapt and utilise the internet. We represent clients such as the English FA, Brazil, Republic of Ireland, Sweden, Norway on a national team level. Also have a strong club portfolio, including clubs like Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Fulham, Rangers and Celtic. And it's our job to maximise their television and related media incomes. We pride ourselves as being known as the House of Football, where under one roof we deliver a full service organisation for the commercial rights of our bodies that we represent. Primarily, and we'll discuss later, is television rights. We represent the rights of national federations in South America, in Europe. We're constantly expanding. We have an agreement with the US Soccer Federation. Not only is it television rights that we represent, but we also represent the sponsorship rights of these federations. We're also well known for the event management attributes that we deliver to these federations. We've been responsible for managing all of the Brazil games that have most recently been in the Emirates Stadium in London, and even more recently in Doha. The Glamour Friendly against England in Doha was a game organised by Kentaro, where again we are looking to maximise the revenues for our partners and ourselves in innovative ideas and using the world and other areas to find these. We also have a player agent business, which I don't need to explain to you. You all know we're recently acquired SEM, the Jerome Anderson business, and therefore involved in not only servicing clients' TV needs, but also the players that are on the pitch. Last but not least, we also advise various financial institutions and clubs on their financial transactions and takeover business. Ollie's the technical part of Perform. And,
here we go. So Perform is a high-growth digital media business focused in sport. We control technology very well. Hey.
He doesn't like the slide, huh?
There we go, stay still. It's a digital media business focused in sport. We're jointly owned by Access Industries and Management. Have been going for around about 8 years now. The business turns over around about £50 million, has doubled turnover every year for the last 3 years. So we're in a hot space. We're very focused on growth. In terms of numbers, each year we stream over 12,000 live sports events around the world. I think that probably makes us the biggest broadcaster globally, producing around about 60,000 hours of live sport content. From an advertising point of view, we're selling 70 sports and entertainment websites in the UK, hitting around about 20 million unique users. And I think more interestingly, we've built our own video ad network. As my fellow speaker from Ad Konyan said earlier, we think this is the biggest area of growth, and I think it's the most interesting area of the ad space because it's rights protected. So whereas anyone can launch a website, so display advertising is very much that there's an oversupply of content. Video is still very much the domain of the experts and the rights holders and content producers. So now in the UK, our ePlayer product is we call it the biggest commercial video network in the UK. So it's behind the BBC and YouTube. It reaches 40 million videos a month, delivering substantial video pre-roll advertising income. From an office point of view, we are located in 10 countries around the world, headquartered in the UK, but with major offices in Singapore, Australia, and the USA, and employ around about 350 staff globally. Stop. So our business, we talk about it applying across the entire digital value chain. So, and I think this is where we really compete aggressively against the competition that might be strong in one or two of these areas. But we produce content, whether that's out filming with our outside broadcast trucks, or writing stories, or taking feeds in at BT Tower or satellites around the world. Produce it from a production point of view, so highlights, commentaries, data feeds, etc. We've built our own technology platform that's had over £25 million of investment over the last few years, and is really the leading VOD and live video platform out there. Operationally, we've got a big setup so we can support client needs, and commercially, multiple revenue streams. So we're generating revenue across advertising, sponsorship, distribution, subscription, and betting. And if you have a look at the bottom, those are, our business is an interesting mix of B2B and wholly owned products. So around about 50% of our turnover is related to powering rights holder or federation digital products. So we power all the Premier League's digital distribution, their website, and all of their video and mobile services. Other rights holders like the ATP, English Cricket, Cricket Australia, and multiple Premier League websites. Then we have our own products, a product called Watch and Bet, which is a live streaming service that broadcasts over 8,000 live matches through to the online betting community. ePlayer, which is our video on demand product, and we'll come on to that, but that powers pretty much every video in sport on the national newspaper sites in the UK. So we have distribution deals with all of the big newspapers, generating significant traffic. And then omnisport.tv is our global pay-per-view and subscription site. So in any market where television rights aren't sold but there is a feed, we're typically making that available on a pay-per-view basis. And then we have a couple of our own websites, Holy Moly and Soccerway.
And the project we're going to talk about today and why we're here is an innovative project from October 2009 called UkraineVEngland.com. And Kentaro found itself in a situation whereby we represent national federations in their European qualification cycles, and we'd signed the television rights for the Ukrainian FA amongst many others we represent. Now this draw is normally 2 years in advance of a national championship, or European Championship, or World Cup, and we acquired the rights from the Ukrainian FA for all their international television and related media rights. We have similar agreements with the English FA, with the Irish FA, the Swedish, Norwegian, the Kazakhstanis, Belarus, Austria, Montenegro, Cyprus, and Slovakia. So we're industry leaders in this area, and it's business as usual to sell the television rights into the territories. We sell two types of television rights, in fact sometimes three. There is the domestic television rights for the host country. There is the second party television rights, which is the rights into the opponent's territory. So Ukraine v England, the second party television rights are sold into England. And then you have third party television rights, worldwide television rights in Asia, South America, whole of Europe, etc. Undoubtedly the most valuable game in the Ukraine qualification group was the penultimate match of the group, which is Ukraine versus England. Judging by England's recent performances in the last qualification, this match was destined to be the crucial match, therefore expecting very large television audiences. To alleviate our risk, we had entered into an early output deal with Setanta, where we had sold not only the Ukraine-England match, but the Belarus versus England match and the Kazakhstan-England match, as well as other matches in the UK, namely Scotland versus Norway, other Scotland matches, and other Cyprus versus Ireland, etc. However, it's been a tough year, and in June 2009, Setanta went into administration, leaving Kentaro with the rights to this valuable match still to sell. We spoke to all major UK broadcasters, BBC, ITV, Sky, Channel 5, ESPN, who had just come into the market, to determine their interest. And at this stage, given the economy and also the fact that the game was potentially, England had already qualified, they determined that there was no value in this game. Obviously surprised Kentaro with our experience in the rights industry. A game like this on the BBC or ITV would generate, regardless of its outcome or its importance, between 8 to 10 million viewers in prime-time Saturday night viewing. And for Sky, it would obviously be a key subscription driver. So we partnered, and this is why we're here, we partnered with Perform to deliver what was the first live, exclusive internet pay-per-view delivery of an England qualification match. Now Perform and Kentaro, should also say, stream many matches in various territories worldwide. However, this is the first of national importance in a second-party territory, and also with a pay-per-view element to it. Kentaro's remit here was to maximise our commercial exposure and to generate the acquisition fee that we'd already paid to the Ukrainians. So we had to think innovatively as how to maximise the traffic, and Ollie will talk about some of the affiliate marketing programs that we used to ensure this.
So the first thing we worked out is we didn't want to have a huge marketing budget to go out and blow millions of pounds on driving people to a website when no one knew going into it how big commercially this could be. So through our deals with all of the UK newspapers, where we already supply significant volumes of video content, we went and agreed affiliate marketing deals. So every single one of the national newspapers, and the Mail actually came on board at the end as well, bar The Guardian, became major affiliate partners of the venture. So they took a share in every transaction they generated. They all had co-branded websites. So in a way, they felt like they were the broadcaster rather than us. And that very much got them engaged editorially and from a marketing point of view. I think the other major factor in doing this was controlling the media output, because I think I'm looking at Mike Anderson there, the former CEO of News International, and if the likes of The Sun and the Mail aren't on board with something like this, they can ruin it very quickly with fairly vitriolic editorial coverage of something like this that was potentially quite controversial, because it was the first time a game of real national importance had ever been made available on the internet. So all of the partners came on board. We controlled the editorial output, so all of them were very, very positive in their coverage of the event, and in terms of the marketing exposure we got, it was very significant. I won't dwell on this, but from an aggregate point of view, the marketing reached over 15 million users in the week running up to the game across the various titles, the biggest being The Sun and the Mail, and then the various broadsheets. It wasn't just online, the promotion we got as well. We got significant newspaper coverage, and we've got some examples of that at the end, but over 10 million people were hit in the week preceding the game with advertising that we didn't have to pay for, but the newspapers benefited from the pay-per-view and betting transactions that were subsequently generated. It wasn't just the newspapers. We also worked with the major ISPs, not BT and Carphone Warehouse in the end, but Orange and Virgin Media. And one of the key reasons we did this, as well as obviously the marketing reach, was we realized that this was going to be a significant webcast in terms of network volumes used. In the end, it was, the biggest webcast the UK's ever seen in terms of live streaming. I think probably the Obama inauguration was second to that. And so we felt that it was very important to get the ISPs on board. So all of the ISPs, even the ones that weren't on a marketing basis, all freed up big areas of their network to make sure that the event was delivered fault-free, and from a consumer point of view, they got an excellent end-user experience. Here's just a list of some of the partners. Obviously talked about the newspaper and the ISP partners that were the major affiliates and really benefited from from commercially from every transaction they generated. Our ePlayer product is distributed amongst a number of other websites where we were able to drive traffic from, because we had a fairly significant media budget to support that in the week leading up to the event. The one other the affiliate piece of work we did was partner with Web Games, a major UK affiliate network, who are specialists in getting your traffic absolutely everywhere. So we felt that we covered off all of the major sites, but they covered off all of the sites that are too small for our marketing teams to approach directly, the community websites, blogs, tipping services, etc. And so we feel in the week leading up to the game, we literally covered every football fan in the UK that has ever used the internet.
We should also note we had a pay-per-view model which began on the Monday when we had our press conference announcing the game, £4.99 with a ramped up payment process, £9.99 2 days before the game, £11.99 on the Saturday, and at all times via partner Bet365. If you opened a betting account with Bet365, you could watch the game for free. And obviously then we had the additional marketing spend of Bet365, who obviously it was in their best interest to promote the game as well. So we had marketing from all angles.
Yeah, and from a Bet365 point of view, it was the biggest week they'd ever had from an acquisition point of view, significantly over-delivered on the likes of the Grand National, and obviously from a pay-per-view and a streaming point of view was the biggest event we've ever done. The final piece of the marketing jigsaw is email and viral seeding. So there was a huge volume of viral seeding across the social networks. One of the big issues we faced in the blog sphere and in the social networks were people promoting illegal and pirated streams, saying, well, why would I pay $5.99 or $9.99 when I can watch it for free on Justin.tv? And so there was this concerted effort to, with our affiliate marketing team, to try and comment on all of those comments that you risk having spyware attached to you, the user experience will be very poor. And so we managed that agenda very well as well.
We should also note that Kentaro, again, trying to maximise the investment and also find innovative ways to show matches. We agreed a deal with Arts Alliance Media and also Odeon Cinemas to show the matches in Odeon Cinemas up and down the country. Leicester Square, Odeon, had 700 people in the cinema enjoying the big game on a big screen experience, and I noticed that was actually repeated last night in Spain, in the whole of Spain. The Real Madrid-Barcelona game was also shown in cinemas up and down the country, and tickets sold out for that very important match in 3 days, showing again Kentaro's desire to find innovative ways to show their rights, and the internet is clearly one of those in the cinema, the next step as well.
So in terms of campaign results, I think I've mentioned, I feel we pretty much hit every media outlet there was in the week commencing to it. We had a very aggressive PR strategy as well. So both the chairman of Kentaro and Perform were interviewed on every major news network in the UK, both radio and television. Significant online presence from a PR point of view as well. And bizarrely enough, we reached all corners of the world, because I think this was the first time that something of this national importance had ever been made available purely on the internet.
We like to say it was the cheapest, most expensive PR campaign ever, just due to the national sensitivity of such a step and such a project. The headlines wrote themselves, which was obviously great PR for our campaign, and drove more users to the campaign. The BBC actually, who in the end this project was against broadcasters such as the BBC, were actually listing our URL on the BBC website, which has a huge football traffic coming to it. So people were directly signing up from the BBC website. Here's a few of the highlights of the press campaign. It was likened to the moon landing, which was an interesting one. And as Ollie said, by signing up with the various newspaper affiliates, we ensured that the editorial content was also, in general, very positive, and therefore ensuring further sign-ups. And in summary, we had the largest internet pay-to-view sports broadcast in the UK. We say here 500,000 fans, although recently last week we believe that figure to be exceeded, closer to 600,000. We engaged in a market survey after the game, and 87% of the consumers felt the picture quality was satisfactory or better, and 93% were satisfied with support. We also struck a last-minute deal with the BBC, so we ensured that there was highlights for the free-to-air broadcasters. Unfortunately, England lost, so I guess Kentaro and Performer to blame for that as well. And last but not least, we also made arrangements to ensure the game was screened live to the British Armed Forces and in their bases abroad. And in summary, whether the project was a success or not is whether we do it again, and Perform and Kentaro think there's definitely a market to do this again. There's further technologies becoming available to ensure that your laptop screen is directly displayed on your large screen television in your home. We can hopefully find a way to get into pubs. The cinema deals can be greater, and we think there's definitely a viable market to show live sports events on the internet for a national market. Thank you.